And yeah,
I'm not
like
sure
this.
why I'm thinking. Oh man, I shouldn't be saying this on the spot. Anyway,
What?
go ahead.
Yeah, don't say it. Anyways,
No, you know exactly what I'm thinking when you every time you flick through. Do it again,
what?
and tell me, that doesn't make you think about something.
A certain part of the human body?
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I get it. I get it. The the
The way.
jiggly nature of things.
Yes. Oh my gosh! Thank you.
Yeah.
I remember actually a guy. His name is Kazonomics, who does technical analysis, and he just uses a lot of profane language, and he has this pattern that he named cock and balls.
Oh.
Where it's like a ball where a ball develops and then the cock comes in, and that is basically the upcycle. And yeah, I think he got banned for this kind of language on Twitter, but he is widely regarded in the technical analysis community as the guy. So yeah, check him out if you're interested in technical analysis and charts and stuff like that. Kazonomics.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.
Humble and gracious host Jerry, joined by the incomparable Romanian stallion Adi, and coming back at you again with all of the tips and tricks to finesse the game that is the stock market and crypto and any other way you can hula hoop around money and taxes. Make money while you sleep. You heard? Uh,
Hopefully.
yes. How you doing,
Sometimes
Adi?
sometimes you lose money while you sleep,
Sometimes
so
you lose money while you sleep.
yeah, that's not advisable. Yeah, just take the good part of this,
Yeah,
not
man. Yeah. Don't sweat that. You know?
yeah, yeah.
How
Uh
you doing, Adi?
Good, dude. I'm having some difficulties. It would be weird to say difficulties in life, but there are difficulties and they are in my life. So yeah, it could be said. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna yeah.
reveal something about yourself a little bit. We know share some of that pain, some of that
Uh,
frustration. We know you live in Romania. Um, obviously, Adi's a dev.
yeah,
Getting that dev money. Newly self-employed,
yeah,
and yeah, just trying his best out here.
yeah.
Um,
There,
go
there
ahead.
was a TV host in Romania. He wasn't very qualitative. He was actually quite manipulative, but that's a different story. And he says, "We live in Romania, and literally that takes up all of our time." And he wasn't wrong. He was not wrong.
Just living
Uh,
there takes a ball of your time.
yeah, yeah. It's just it's time consuming living in Romania. So yeah, basically, like you said, yeah, I'm a dev and I'm self employed now, which means I work for myself. But yeah,
Light
while
flick.
that's yeah, 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 yeah. While that's good, and it opens some gates and perspectives regarding work and time and allocation and stuff like that, because you are more flexible and yeah, basically you're operating on a contract basis in which if you work a couple of hours, you get paid for those hours and stuff like that. But yeah, that's interesting. We can talk about that some other time more in depth. But the long story short is I started doing this starting this month. So far, not a lot of changes, but what has changed is I had to start working with the Romanian legal and financial system, and I'm actually quite scared to say anything negative about them because they might come
I
after me
can
because that's how it
imagine.
works here.
Hide your
Yeah,
kids, hide your wives.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, long story short, it's super chaotic, man. Like and it's annoying in the sense that the actually creating the self-employed entity, which is sort of like a company in Romania, like there are a lot of legal differences, but all, in terms of processes you have to go through, it's super similar to starting up a company. Like seriously, there's some extra steps you would have to do for a company, but not a lot. There would be some extra paperwork, but not a lot. There would be some extra benefits, but not a lot. So the self-employed entity is super similar to a company in Romania, actually.
Right.
Probably there's a lawyer out there who is just like, no, it's not. Well, maybe it's not, but from my perspective, it was, in the sense that for starting the self-employed entity, I actually contracted the services of a company. It was super cheap. They helped me a lot. I gathered the paperwork. I actually handed them in a dossier, and it was fine. And that was actually, I wouldn't say it was surprisingly easy, but I was like, I don't know why everybody was talking about bureaucracy in Romania. I just did this with the company. I just handed in some papers. Everything was juicy. I was like, yay. And yeah, that definitely wasn't it. And dude, like the the equivalent of the uh, IRS in Romania is, first off, they're super scary because yeah, they usually hunt people for money and stuff like that. But it's super complicated, dude. Like it's like you go to a teller and they give you some information. You go to the other person, they give you other information, and you're like, how is this even possible? Like two people working in the same place literally gave me different information based on like there was this lady, she was on her shift, she told me something, she left her shift, another lady came in, she gave me totally different information. I went with her advice. I think her advice was correct, but I don't know, hopefully, right? And everything is like it's like this black box. I just submit information and documents and basically pray they're okay, because nobody is telling me this is correct or this is incorrect. Like
Right.
if you hear me going to jail for some financial crime, I didn't do it on purpose, mostly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't know better. But yeah, dude, it's annoying.
There's
Yeah,
there's parallels to the American system if you think about it, like in terms of tax, right? Because people made this joke that the IRS is an institution that requests for you to do your tax, but they don't tell you how much you owe, and if you put a wrong number on there, you simply go to jail.
it's the same thing here. I think this is mostly the same thing in all countries, because it's just because they
No,
don't
in the
have.
UK, it's done automatically, unless
Really.
you do yeah, unless you do something to circumvent um, them sort of getting the money from you. But most for the most part, it's done automatically,
Yeah,
and
dude.
oftentimes actually you overpaid and you're due money back, and you
Mm-hmm.
call them and they put you on the right tax code.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I actually have to give kudos to the UK in that regard.
Yeah, that does sound good.
That's
That
kind of
does
nice.
sound good. And I was actually hearing stories of people making full companies online in the UK through like a website application. I haven't tried it, but I heard people it's
Awesome.
super simple. But for me, it wasn't like that. Like I had to print stuff. I had to hand papers in. It's like it's a combination of bureaucratic, actual paper, actual human beings. It's
Right.
and the information they give you, man, seriously, like it's totally opposite one from another. It's not okay. Like somebody is mistaken, and I go to an office, they tell me something. I call the national office, they tell me something else. I go back to that office and they're like, no, they were wrong. And I was like, how? And this just tells me that they either don't know the full scope of their things, or they don't care, or they're not knowledgeable enough. But yeah, it's annoying. Hopefully I'll be done with it quite soon. I'm getting like a digital signature through which I'll be able to sign my documents. So I'll be able to submit more of them online. I think this would actually allow me to submit some documents which normally would only be accepted in paper, but because I have a digital signature associated with my legal entity, I can deposit them online, and I think that's how it works. But anyways, it's super annoying because I'm finding things as I go. I made this digital signature basically just to submit this one document. I would have needed it in the future, that's for certain, but I made it super fast, hopefully at a good company at a good price, because I didn't have a lot of time to check, because I was like, okay, I have to do this now so I can submit this paperwork today because I needed these next days, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get them. Like, yeah, it's bad, dude. It's unpredictable. It's hard, and honestly, I'm not gonna say this. People don't do tax evasion because it's hard, but they don't. But no, dude. Seriously, if I was a less well-intentioned person, less educated, and less scared of jail, I'd be like, yeah, no, fuck this. Just, I don't know, pay me in whatever, pay me in gold, send me some Bitcoin, because this
You
isn't
could make
easy.
the argument that more intelligent people actually do tax evasion
Or
potentially.
I think intelligent people mostly do fiscal optimization. Honestly, if I think
Or they
that's my
let their
point of view.
lawyer do it.
Again,
But
I think they do fiscal optimization and loopholes and stuff like that, and that makes sense. But I'm sure there's people at the the intelligence curve at the bottom. I'm sure they do it because they're like, I'm not gonna understand the system. Like, even if I want it to be legit, I just don't want to do it. Seriously, it's complicated, dude. And we know this from the business perspective as well. If you make it hard for people to give you money, they'll prefer not to give you money. Like,
yeah,
governments should implement this as much as anybody else. You want shit, just make it easy for people to give it to you.
you would think that they would, especially in extracting money. You would think that process would be easy, which is funny. But this is what they do. They mandate processes that are even hard to execute.
Yeah.
Which it sounds or seems like a oxymoron. But I guess the moral of the story is appreciate if you are in a country that has congruent sort of rules and messages regarding how to be self-employed and register
Yeah.
that, or have a company, or coordinate that whole thing. Because in some countries, just like in Addis, where you have people that are trying to be fully productive and contribute to society and through whatever role they're doing, having huge hurdles that they have to jump through, just
Yeah.
because you have to imagine you're trying to do your work, but you're caught up in admin.
Yeah. No, like, truly, I
You
am
know what I mean?
wasting hours of my day doing stuff. Okay, most of it is one-time things. I'm only gonna require to do them once. Probably make a recheck once a year or stuff like that. So it's not that bad. But still, I'm losing time instead of contributing to society. Yeah, for no good reason.
Yeah, man. So
But yeah, and also yeah, like you said, the most important thing to get out of this is that maybe Romania isn't even the worst country in the world. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Usually, I would assume we're somewhere average, at least for
it
European
could be
levels.
Afghanistan.
You in Afghanistan, probably you need a goat to set up your own self-employed company.
Actually, be careful what you say, man. The Taliban might be listening, my guy.
Probably not, though. I'm
I love how you stopped there to actually think about whether the Taliban could be listening or
hmm.
not.
Dude, they did just say they're planning on giving crypto miners special status. They might be listening,
Insane,
dude.
right? Insane,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
on one hand, it sounds so hilarious. On the other hand, it's like I feel like there might be huge cognitive dissonance coming in soon for a lot of crypto folks. Um, on one hand, it's funny. On the other hand, it might be it might be used by politicians as further rhetoric that crypto is only used by terrorists and criminals and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and they can quote the Taliban.
yeah.
Some politician is salivating at the mouth at this.
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah,
from this point of view, if we're going to be honest, there is a connection here. Like they weren't like, oh, come to Afghanistan to have the next Silicon Valley. No, they said specifically crypto. I think there might be a reason behind this, right?
yeah, of course, because it's less likely to track, and it also doesn't
Exactly.
fall under the petrodollar.
Yeah.
But the petrodollar is also part of the reason why Afghanistan might be in a situation they are in. So I wouldn't even hold it against them. But that I just think crypto is government agnostic, and it just so happens that Afghanistan falls into that. And I don't actually want to come on this podcast and feed into a narrative that crypto is used by criminals and terrorists or something like that, because cash is
Yeah,
used
yeah,
by
yeah.
criminals and terrorists by a much
Of course.
larger degree than crypto, but somehow there's never the comparison being made there.
Yeah, yeah, the guy
Yeah,
at the Bitcoin conference had the same speech. So in terms, if everybody wants numbers, he had some numbers regarding how much of terrorism and all of this backwater stuff is crypto and how much is cash. And I think it's like 98% cash. So yeah, we good, we good.
yeah, yeah. So, would you like to start with some of your tools today? We're going a
Yeah,
bit of a freestyle.
yeah.
So
I
dive
actually
in.
have a lot of tools. So I'll share some, and if I don't know. Yeah, we can see. I can show some of mine. If you want, you can come in, show some of yours. If it's interesting, I'll continue going. But yeah, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Sir.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, basically this is a Linux interface, in case everybody was wondering. Yeah, I'll start with Tipranks. Tipranks is I you'll see that a pattern of my stock analysis is mostly quantitative, and I only go into qualitative when I'm inspecting the stock, either before doing the quantitative or after doing the quantitative. Like sometimes I start from quantitative, go to qualitative, and sometimes it's just the other way around. But yeah, tip ranks is a quantitative resource in the sense that it has a lot of numbers. It gives you a general feel. What's interesting about tip ranks is, first off, you have there's this neat overview of of a stock. So basically, I'm looking at Tesla right now. Basically, what they have this broken down into sectors. You can actually touch upon each of them individually, but they have it as a general. Of course, you might agree or you might disagree with this, but most of them have some purpose here. For example, this is the analyst ratings. So basically, if you go to analyst, you'll have a view of what people's price target is and what's the average of their price target, and then what's the difference between the current price and the average price. So basically, right now, they're saying that Tesla has a 7% upside potential, meaning that if, yeah, the average price is 7, 10, 26, and yeah, Tesla can run 7% more.
Not
Now, this
according
is,
to Michael Burry.
yeah, yeah, of course, because he's shorting it. Actually, I was
No,
just reading an article,
receipts.
and basically they were suspecting that Michael Burry bought somewhere in between $900 and $550. So from that point of view, he's either break even right now or slightly in profit. So his Tesla
What do you
short
mean
hasn't.
bought?
Hmm?
mean his short?
Yeah. He bought it. He disclosed his short in a quarter where the Tesla extremes were 550 and 900. So his price can be much higher or much lower than that. If he shorted it at the top, he is in good profit. But if he shorted it a while lower, he's not that much in profit actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was actually is actually quite weird because I believe the SEC is doing a national probe into Tesla. I think that's worth mentioning
yes, regarding full
because
self-driving or
exactly
autopilot.
regarding yeah the claims of full self driving and autopilot, and
Yeah.
yeah, it will be interesting to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
yeah, going back to the tools. Yeah, this. I think this is interesting because you kind of get a feeling of price target from Wall Street, and I think that's at least again quantitatively interesting. What what should be mentioned is, for example, these are basically analysts from investment firms. So they're not bad analysts, but they're not necessarily good analysts either. So do you know Gordon Johnson, the guy who is super skeptical on Tesla?
Nope.
Yeah, whatever. He's an analyst and people make fun of him because he's not super intelligent because he's always bearish on Tesla. But yeah, point being, I think this $150 is actually his price target. But he's not over achieving the market. I think we can find him. Wait.
Yeah, that's the other thing on Tipranks. You can see sort of public investors' performance so far.
Okay, yeah, this is the guy. So yeah, yeah, you can see his performance. Obviously, it's what his yeah. See, I wouldn't say he's a qualitative researcher. And yeah, his yeah. So he has been rating Tesla a sell since forever. So
Jeez. How many L's can you take?
all of them apparently. But yeah, yeah, this is the whole thing with the analyst, and then you have this is a new feature. They list risk factors from a company's thank you form, which is interesting. It kind of tells you because companies are actually legally required to disclose their own perceived risks. So and they do it, but you can basically try to imagine and see where companies think they might have some risks, which basically, if you don't have such an in-depth information regarding the company, it can allow you to go deeper. Yeah.
Can I interject here for a second, and I'll include
Yeah,
this
sure.
in the video? There is actually a SEC searchable, SEC form searchable tool that allows you to go through a company's risk factors. Just like you just mentioned, every company has to state those in their SEC filing at the IPO. And one interesting one to note is maybe exactly on the site now is maybe
Yeah.
like Coinbase, and they mentioned that one of their risk factors is if Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the would-be inventor of Bitcoin, would would surface, that this could be huge impact on their stock and Bitcoin as a currency, and then could therefore affect the company's returns positively or negatively. So,
Yeah.
but that's just one high profile example. But if you were to figure out, okay, what is the risk of any given stock I'm invested in, which I would recommend everybody to do. Like, you should know the sort of risk factors of the stocks you're investing in. Like, there shouldn't be a stock that you own where you don't know the risk factors. I say this shit, and I haven't done this on 100% of my stocks, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But do better than me. Know your risk factors.
Yeah. I think again one of the best uses of this section is looking at the general category of this and basically checking it out from the macroeconomics. For example, finance and corporate you can look at their financial statement and you can see if that's a problem or not, if it's getting worse or not. Production, you can probably look at the general supply chain and, for example, chip manufacturing. And if you see that improving, you would be able let's say, deduce that, okay, Tesla will do fine this quarter because basically the shortage is getting better, right? So from that perspective, there's ways to that you can use this information. The next one is this with Tesla stock investors. Basically, everybody on Tipranks has a portfolio, and you can make it public or not. Basically, this is sort of a popularity contest, but I think it's relevant because retail investors are super relevant now, right? Like they can cause prices to go up and down. So first off, a lot of people own Tesla, but you can also look at the seasonality, and people have been, they kind of been giving up on Tesla in the past 30 days, which is interesting. You can basically follow trends like this. There's obviously bloggers, which basically they do sentiment analysis on articles from different financial papers like Motley Fool, Seeking Alpha, Investor Place, and stuff like that, which again is interesting, but sometimes these articles are kind of general. For example, all of these negative ones, they're general. Probably this one has some specific Tesla stuff. But for example, the bullish one, this is only the one regarding Tesla. So this isn't necessarily a good information. This is also This is also interesting. The Insider, as Jerry has shared, we had different tools for Insider. But yeah, this is just like an aggregate of all of it. Again, it's quantitative. So basically, how I usually use Tipranks is, for example, I want to buy a company. I just look at this before looking at, I wouldn't say everything else, but this is a super good starting point for me. Because, yeah, so some of these things are not super relevant. Most of the other ones are. For example, hedge fund activity and insider activity, I think they're super important. Technicals, maybe not that much. News, maybe not that much. Tip rank investors, maybe not that much. But yeah, the more quantitative ones, I think they're useful. So yeah, I usually, again, like I said, either I go from this to qualitative or from qualitative to this. Cool?
Super interesting.
Yeah. Another thing is, what I like to do is, one of the best advice I've heard from people regarding investment is compare companies to their competitors, right? Because you wouldn't know if Tesla, for example, is doing a good job if you don't compare it to anything, right? Because yeah, you could think, okay, it's doing a good job, but you would need the comparison. And for this, I use Craft. It basically shows companies which are competitors of the company you search for. LKQ is a auto dealership and parts dealership for cars, and I used to swing trade it because I had some good information regarding it, and I made some money on it. But it was last year, so I just bookmarked this with LKQ. But I think it's interesting nonetheless. Basically, it has interesting information like the numbers of employees. You can see this could be either be a good thing or a bad thing, but then again, that's your decision to make. You can see the valuation. You can even see things like Twitter followers and engagement with Twitter followers, which I think is super interesting,
Wow,
especially
that's
nowadays.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, this is super interesting, dude. And you'll spot a company which does good if you look at these numbers, because
Mhm.
engagement goes a long way with people. Even the Alexa website ranking goes a long way. Is super interesting. And then you have some financials and stuff. But again, this is mostly quantitative, and you can basically check this to see if the company you're trying to look at is performing better than the competition from certain perspectives. For example, look at this engagement scores. Like LKQ, maybe not so hot. These other companies, they have 100% engagement,
How
you know.
accurate is that though? 100. What does 100% even mean? Every single person reacts to their tweets or something?
No, I think it's how much of their tweets have engagement on them. I think either by them or by other people. So at least if they answer to them. So either them or the community around them have answered to tweets mentioning them. I mean, that's how I understood it. Which could either tell you that they're a super PR active company or that they have a strong following on social media. That's how
Right.
I interpreted it.
Super interesting, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. And look at this, even the follower counts. Like these guys, they have 300. Of course, they can have 100% engagement, but these guys have 4,000. So they're obviously doing something right. Yeah, and basically there's some curves, which again allows for some easy comparison to see what the trends have been for each company.
Hmm.
Yeah, net income and market capitalization. Yeah, okay,
Super
this was.
interesting, especially that visual representation.
Yeah, it's again it's
For the,
super qualitative, but it gives me like an impression. If I go to this
yeah,
and I see the competitors and I'm seeing that they're doing better than the competitors, or the market cap isn't correlated with their revenue, I'm like, okay, this is an interesting opportunity. If not, I'm not gonna go into it that much. Yeah, the next thing, which I think is also interesting, but this is super specific, is EU EVs. Apparently, Europe has been somewhat of a leader in EV adoption, or a laggard, depending on how you look at it. But I think, for example, the Nordic countries have been quite early adopters. So I think it might be interesting from that perspective.
yeah. There's
Uh,
stories of Norway having to advise the citizens to stop buying Teslas because they didn't have enough charging stations.
yeah,
So there's that.
and I think they were also heavily subsidizing it. But yeah,
Yes.
basically this website, which is actually not that amazing in terms of usability, but nonetheless it's relevant, allows you to look at EV sales in certain by certain parameters. So, for example, Q1 2021, you can look at market share per brand or per model. So yeah, I think this is interesting. And yeah, if you look at, I think there was also some sort of analysis which allows you to see like a pie chart, but I don't think that's here. But yeah, bottom line is, yeah, see Volkswagen versus Tesla. It's usually what I look at because I'm invested in both companies. So I like to compare their track record. And yeah, look at also what kind of cars that they sell. Because for example, Renault selling Zoe, it's not that impressive because it's a much cheaper, much smaller, not such an impressive car. But Tesla selling Model 3s, that's pretty good. Then another thing with Volkswagen, you can see how many EV versions they have, and they have quite a lot of cars. So yeah, yeah, I like to use this website as well. And look here. For example, Volkswagen is actually doing really good this year with ID3 and ID4. So yeah,
Hmm.
and Tesla has overtaken Renault Zoe for the top model this year, which is interesting because you always hear stories about Tesla lagging and stuff like that. But yeah, this information is accurate, and basically you can check if it's lagging or not. So yeah. The next one is Gurufocus. I know you also used it, but I just wanted to touch upon it from the perspective of the industry. And I think, like you said, with for example, with a company like Tesla, it doesn't provide the full picture just because, yeah, Tesla is objectively overvalued for what they do now. So basically, most people who buy Tesla now buy it as a call option for the future, anyways. But yeah, this comes to show that, yeah, this is most likely the case. However, it is performing better than itself in the past, so it's improving, which is good. But yeah, I also wanted to bring this into the talk. Yeah. Another thing I like to watch is try to see what hedge funds are buying and what large institutional investors are buying, in the sense that basically after going and seeing Tipranks and see hedge funds activity, I like to try and see which of these companies have been buying, how their position size has been increasing and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to talk a bit about BlackRock Raider, and yeah,
Lock.
I think, huh?
You said Black Lock.
BlackRock. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I thought you can search by funds as well. Anyways, Yeah, I was also checking this for ARK Invest, regarding their positions, and yeah, it has like a summary quarter to quarter to see if their position has increased. Yeah,
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah, but specifically for ARK Invest, there's actually better websites. But yeah, for other companies, you don't have. For example, this one. I use this one as well. You can see much better positioning of ARK Invest and their change. But yeah, yeah, good.
The
Um,
site is actually called kathyark.com.
yeah, yeah, Kathy's ARK. Yeah,
Yeah, man, people have a healthy obsession with
dude, she's good.
Kathy
She's good.
Plays.
She's good.
I
She's
mean,
good.
this
She's
is
good.
this is how this is how I started. If I gotta be honest with you, I was literally just following everything Kathy Wood does. I had those email notifications. I mean, we had those. We always discussed them and stuff. So it was, yeah, it was really how we dip our toes into the investment world.
True.
Um,
True.
yeah, shout out to Kathy, man. Big shout.
Yeah. And the next one is lazy fundamental analysis, which
Oh
is,
wow.
yeah, it's a website, and you get interesting information. One of the best things I like about it is the fact that, well, it's neatly summarized. For example, this with the insider trading stuff, but also it's comparative over a period of time, which again kind of makes you uh, see if the company is improving. Because, for example, seeing graph like this makes you obviously very positive, and obviously these are yeah, some other stuff. So basically, you have like income statement, you can have balance sheet, you can have the cash flow, and obviously like general metrics, which are just whatever the market thinks is interesting, like EBIT.
The animation, it looks really funny.
Yeah, but no, I think it's very visually telling, and also you can have it as a table if you want to just see the numbers without the animation. And yeah,
I'm not
like
sure
this.
why I'm think. Oh man, I shouldn't be saying this on the spot. Anyway,
What?
go ahead.
Yeah, don't say it. Anyways,
No, you know exactly what I'm thinking when you every time you flick through. Do it again,
what?
and tell me, that doesn't make you think about something.
A certain part of the human body?
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I get it. The the
The way.
jiggly nature of things.
Yes. Oh my gosh! Thank you.
Yeah.
I remember actually a guy. His name is Kazonomics, who does technical analysis, and he just uses a lot of profane language, and he has this pattern that he named cock and balls.
Oh.
Where it was like a ball where a ball develops and then the cock comes in, and that is basically the upcycle. And yeah, I think he got banned for this kind of language on Twitter, but he is widely regarded in the technical analysis community as the guy. So yeah, check him out if you're interested in technical analysis and charts and stuff like that. Kazonomics.
Yeah, I'm actually using Twitter just for following invest fin tweet, as they call it. And yeah, most of them are just shit posts, but yeah, they're super funny. And actually, there was this guy who was showing how Tesla stock was dropping, and he was like, "This is a Tesla Cybertruck setup reversed or something." But yeah, it's random. Basically, dude, if you have a bit of imagination, you can draw anything you're imagining on the stock chart, and yeah, sometimes it works.
This is the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Yeah. So this is you.
Oh no, I have a ton more. Yeah,
Okay, hold on. Let me let me interject in between. Relax, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let,
Go, go,
let,
go.
let's do it. Uh, let's do it like a ball game where you pass the
Okay.
ball to me and then I pass it back to you. Just
Okay.
to keep it diverse,
Okay.
like the ESG funds. Um, so let me open mine.
Okay.
So what would you like? We have 52-week lows and highs. We have tracking hedge funds. We have crypto fear and greed index. We have some on-chain analysis. Whatever your heart desires.
Let's see the
What
crypto
shall we
fear and
start with?
greed.
Crypto fear and greed. Okay, let's do
I
this.
think we might be closing in on one of them. At least, surprisingly enough, dude, Bitcoin isn't moving that much. I
It
think
isn't.
altcoins are
Yeah,
outperforming.
this is the sense I'm getting. Oftentimes
Yeah.
that can you see this?
I don't. Not yet. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually the only site. Actually, let me share it a different way. It's cool if they can see my entire screen. It is fine. Yeah, so the primary source is really there is no central source like for the CNN fear and greed. Um there's a Bitcoin fear and greed substack and they basically track sentiment, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But the main and correct me if I'm wrong, any of the listeners, the main source is the Twitter handle actually. And yeah, they do post memes as well, as you can see.
Nice.
Apologies, that is not a COVID cough. I might have to edit that one out.
Nah.
um, we'll leave it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here you can see the most recent one, which was 20 hours ago. And as you might have caught on to last time, I discussed why the fear and greed index is really interesting for the stock market. And um, there's a quote that really sums this up well. And it was something along the lines of, and do I have this here? Might be one of these. There's a quote basically. I might not be able to find it, but there's a quote that says, "It would be great if you could have an analysis of crypto, the same type of fundamental and foundational analysis that you have on the stock market for Bitcoin and crypto." And fear and greed is one step into that direction. I'll get a little bit deeper into it on a platform that I don't think um, all of our listeners have heard about or Adi has heard about, but just to you know to see as a starter, so to say, I'd say Fear and Greed Index is a really great tool. And as you can see currently, the Greed Index is at 72. It's pretty high. It's not the highest,
Yep.
but I wouldn't recommend buying at this time. If you can, I would hold out to um, when you know how they say blood is on the streets.
Yep.
And there's the same for Ethereum. So all you really have to do is just set up a a Twitter account and then follow these two accounts to sort of signal to you when it's good to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Fear and greed index on Ethereum is a little bit lower, which is surprising actually, because you would think that there's more buying happening in Ethereum because I think uh, Bitcoin has been stalling for the longest. Um, So yeah, it'll be interesting to read in-depth reasoning for having higher greed currently for Bitcoin than for Ethereum. But same rule applies here as with Bitcoin or the stock market. Um, buy when it's incredibly low, and currently it's very high, so I would hold out. In fact, just as uh, fear is an indicator to buy, greed is an indicator to take profit.
Yeah, definitely not sell though.
Exactly, definitely don't sell. Yeah, so that's those two. Then, then we have a further, um, what I would say, signal to either buy or sell, and that is a 52-week high and low price um, list. And basically, what this tells you is that what stocks are trading at the highest point of the year, and also what stocks are trading at their lowest point of the year. And just like we just discussed, this is a moment to really find out what good companies are among the ones that are trading the lowest, and find out why they're trading. Excuse me. Find out why they're trading the lowest, and if there's no good reason for them to be trading that low, you should be looking into buying them potentially. And me and Ali
Yep.
were discussing some today, actually. So, and genuinely, if you can find a good company here, Alibaba might be one of them right here.
Yeah.
Um, you're looking at some of the best opportunities because, um, in the words of Peter Lynch, it's one of the sort of value investment forefathers. Stocks don't get riskier as they go down. Um, they get more. Was it? They get more safe as they go down.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
really have to go against your intuition in that regard, or your human instinct to buy when you see green. You and in the stock market in general, like you have to develop the stomach for seeing red for a long time before you see green.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
yeah, so that's that. And this is very simple stuff. Like this is simple stuff that could change your whole trading game.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, regarding this, can I share mine now?
yes.
I Yeah, people are necessarily used to hearing about Yahoo, but actually, for what it's worth, Yahoo Finance is not a bad place to centralize the information. For example, this is a portfolio, and I can exactly what you just said. I can do this, and this is what I was actually showing you earlier. Like I can sort by how much the stock has decreased from its 52-week high. So for example, Jumia, Ascensus Surgical, Nano Dimension, BlackBerry, Bionanogenomics, like they have decreased a lot. So if you wanted to buy something, this would be a good time for you to consider getting into these positions. So from that perspective, I think it's interesting. And yeah, you can basically have as many portfolios as you want, and you can put them in this. You can create your own view. For example, I have a view which is called fundamentals, which basically I like to compare stocks like this, basically price to sales, price to book, EBITDA. So from that perspective, I think Yahoo Finance is super versatile. Yeah.
Absolutely. The fact that it's so customizable and that it's entirely free, I think is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what was that headline saying about Jack Dorsey and Elon on the bottom right of the page?
Oh, that people who are taking Bitcoin, who are Bitcoin investors, are poised to take a larger role in politics. Basically, I think they're connecting to the fact that they have clout because of their Bitcoin investing. So basically, they have visibility. So yeah.
Oh yeah, crypto definitely proved that they have lobbying power by pretty much stopping the infrastructure bill for a good 1 or 2 days to revise their takes on that. So yeah, interesting. Um,
Yeah.
were you gonna continue with some of your tools, or should
Oh,
I?
I have more, but if you want, you can share some. I already shared some of mine, so if you want, you can share some more, and then I'll share some
Okay, I'm gonna drop
others.
a bombshell on you, my boy.
Oh no, come on, hit me,
Come on, man. I
come
got
on,
you.
man.
All right, hold up. Jeez, hold up. So this is a on-chain analysis website. Um, it's quite costly, actually.
I just wanted to say, isn't this paid? I think I've seen the interface before,
Yes, it's paid.
and you're paying for it.
Yes.
Oh,
If you get enough out of it, um, it's worth the money.
okay.
But yeah, we don't. Come on, man. We don't discuss change on this podcast. We don't discuss small change. um, so Nansen is really interesting because they have very um, frequently updated information. I mean, this is a minute ago. This is a minute ago. This is a minute ago. So if you're really trying to make swing trades, if you're trying to be a trader, so to say, on crypto, this might be for you. Um, and you get what you pay for. I'm just going to talk about the most interesting thing on this platform, and that's token god mode.
Shit.
In token god mode, you can select a coin and you can get a token summary. This summary shows you what the total supply of this coin is on exchanges, which you can see here 20%.
Mm-hmm.
It can show you the topics, like what exchange holds the most amount. You can see the 7 day balance changes. You can also see here visually which one is holding the most. So the first one you can see is Coinbase, second Binance, and so forth and so forth. Now, to me, where it gets interesting is looking at depositors, withdrawals, and balance changes, because
Okay.
this is actually an indicator whether or not potentially there might be a breakout happening. And with Chainlink, this happens to be the case. The depositors are increasing, as you can see. This is the yellow line. However, withdrawals are increasing as well, so that might be a bearish signal. Depends on how you interpret all of this. Um, the balance change, um, positive balance change is also happening. But for me, I always find it interesting if depositors are going up. And in this case, it is, along with withdrawals. Another thing you can see is also notable wallets. So, because everything is on chain, you can see who holds the most. And I don't think they named them, but they put certain sort of tags on them and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, the balance changes. You can see that the Chainlink team, you can actually see how they have been interacting on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're currently holding the most balance. Obviously, there's a few entities that are holding similarly high amount. Here you can see that the Aave on the Aave platform is being a lot held.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can also see crypto institutional investors, so to say. You can see
Mm-hmm.
FTX holding some. You can see BlockFi holding some. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on Hodlers, and this might be potentially the most interesting page for some, because here you can see the addresses and the tokens. Addresses is a strong indicator for hodling, which is long time holding of the coin. And with Chainlink, you could see that there has been a continual increase. And just in the past 90 to 365 days, there's been a massive increase, so to say. In the past 7 days, not so much. Past 7 to 30 days, all of this has been, rather small. You can also see the view in the past 2 years, and you can see that there's much more tokens than there are addresses. And some would, take that as a bearish signal. But it depends how you interpret these things. Um, I don't want to add too much of my opinion on there because this is very new to me as well. Well, this is new to everybody actually. So people are still trying to find out what are, because the crypto industry is obviously newer than the stock market. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the indicators, a lot of the things that indicate as bullish or bearish, which means reasons to buy and reasons to not buy. A lot of these indicators are different from the stock market, and some are similar. And we have yet to find out what all of those things um, are and what they mean. So I'm just pointing out the tool itself, and you can then decide what you think is a bullish or bearish signal. One thing that you can undoubtedly say is a bullish signal is the increases of unique addresses.
Yeah, I just
And
wanted to say exactly that. That's definitely a positive. That can never be a negative.
exactly. So this is showing you all the way from October 2017 to April 2001, and I think this should be August even. So yeah, even today, and they went from you know I think it says here 3,500 addresses all the way to August 13th, 572,000 addresses, which
Yeah,
is an incredible increase. And just speaks to what Chainlink has done so far. So you can do this with any coins here. Say we take Matic, which is also one of our favorites. And here you can see a similar kind of trajectory, even though some things are a little bit different. But with Matic, the the upcline
it's
is much
much
more
more
aggressive.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was playing very low for a long time, and then suddenly, something happened around this time. This is actually 2001. Yeah. So this is from 2019. Yeah. So they're younger than Chainlink as well. So that's
yeah,
important to note. But they suddenly had this boost. Yeah.
yeah.
So this kind of stuff is super interesting. We could look at Luna, which is so an interesting coin. Luna. Do they have them?
I think, yeah, it's.
Yeah. What the hell is that? So just one day they jumped from 12 to 2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah, see how crazy this is. The difference between them and, for example, Chainlink and Matic is that the addresses as well as the token distribution is very equal.
yeah,
I'm not sure what that means, but that's the beauty of these kind of things. Like you can wonder what that means. You can put a question online. You can find somebody who asked a similar question, and you find out something that I or Addy don't even know. But yeah, so this is just something to play with. And yeah, here you can see something similar. Look, withdrawals and deposits have increased drastically, like all on a super up climb.
Yeah, but this actually seems kind of weird. Why would people start hodling and then moving to trading at the same time? It seems
Strange,
weird.
right?
Yeah, because I think it should be either or, at least in terms of trends, right?
I think, well, this is just my guess, but I think because there's a lot of trading happening, it could also be that people are just trading on volatility,
Maybe.
and people trade on volatility on both sides, don't they?
Yeah.
Whether something goes up or whether it goes down. But yeah, that's the beauty of this. On-chain analysis gives you a different kind of set of tools than even the stock market gives you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like a similar thing, but then it's not similar at the same time.
Yeah.
So you use what you understand in the stock market, but only some of it applies in crypto. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So yeah, that's one thing I want to show that I think a lot of people didn't know about. Another thing I wanted to show is Glassnodes.
Okay.
So Glassnode is really interesting. If you go to Glassnode Studio, studio.glassnode.com, they have very interesting charts as well. And this is plotting the number of active addresses with the current price. And sometimes, as you can see, they sort of correlate and then sometimes they don't.
I'm
If you
not
look at,
seeing anything right now.
oh, you're not seeing anything about it.
No.
So I was just showing that page. Do this again. Glassnode. Here we go. So here we have Glassnode. Like I said, they show they're plotting the number of active addresses with the current prices. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they seem to correlate, but sometimes they don't, which is interesting. But you can see that the spikes usually um, also, well, the spikes in number of active addresses also cause spikes or seem to show spikes in the price as well.
Yeah.
um, Here also great tool to be using to figure out what that might mean for the stock price currently and in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is also to show you like there's so much that you can see. You can look at addresses with balances of below certain numbers. You can look at sending addresses, right? You can look at
Mm-hmm.
receiving addresses. So pretty much all address activity. You can look at new addresses, and this is a interesting. So this is usually a bullish. If you see an uptrend here,
Mm-hmm.
usually is a bullish sign. But currently, as you can see, um, number of new addresses is actually slightly going down, whereas the price is um is going up. Interesting, right?
Yeah, but basically that's because it cannot go up indefinitely, just like we were saying at some point regarding Facebook. At some point, they're gonna run out of people to actually get them to come on Facebook, right? So
Exactly.
it's yeah. Again, it's good if it's correlated with something, not
Yeah.
just
Now this is a beautiful kind of nice and fine sort of line to show you the number of active addresses so far. And you can see that it's at all-time high of active addresses.
Yeah.
Mm. When you look at total addresses.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the price has been fluctuating, obviously. And yeah, I'm not sure which one could be interesting for. So you can look at exchange activity, for example. Oh, you see, you need the professional one for this one. Yeah. Yep. So to see that, for example, you need the professional
Mm-hmm.
tools to look. So yeah, so that's a few good ones there. Now to hop back to stocks, just to supplement what Adi was showing earlier, I have a page that is really cool actually, but it's slightly different from what you were showing, Adi.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of looking at the hedge funds and what they have bought, it shows you the companies and who is buying.
What the companies themselves have been buying?
No, what hedge funds or whales are buying into the company.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah, I get it, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So here it sort of shows you broad data. Here there might be some interesting data for you to read through. It shows you the total calls and it shows you the total puts. And the
Mm-hmm.
total puts on Tesla, especially, are actually outweigh the calls, which is super interesting, right? And
Yep.
which is also part of the reason why this stock shot up so far, because it crushed the puts basically. If the reverse happens, then the shorts make the most money. And yeah, it has yet to be seen who will be the final winner, so to say.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if your if the pages that you showed this thing, for example,
Which
total
one?
puts and total calls, and then how much.
No,
Um,
I don't think I shared
yeah.
any of them which had that information.
Okay. Here you go down, and then you see the actual hedge funds that bought into it. Maybe we can try and see if we can identify some familiar names.
I'm not seeing the full screen to the left, by the way.
To the left? What do you mean?
I'm not seeing it straight from the left part. I'm seeing the name is cut.
Is it?
Yep.
Hold on.
I just full screened it.
How about now?
1 second. Okay, now it's fine because I full screened that one. But yeah, I'll minimize it afterwards.
Yeah, any familiar names? It's I believe it's sorted after alphabetic order. That's why we see all the A's.
Yeah, but put shares held or percentage of portfolio. Let's see.
Oh, Ark Invest should come up there, shouldn't they?
Obviously, they have like 0.4 or 0.5%.
Oh shit, look at that. Musk Elon. He holds the most.
Of course, it does.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. It says it's 100% of his portfolio. Wow. Yeah, I think he was saying that he's not. Yeah, yeah, he was saying he's not holding any other shares. I thought he was exaggerating, but apparently not.
Yeah, homeboy's not playing about his company. That's full. That's soul in the game. just
Yeah.
just some context for any of the listeners. There's this man called Nassim Taleb, and he wrote a book called Skin in the Game, and he was sort of going through all of the times in history where this concept of skin in the game meant better performance and more ethical behavior because people had sort of their skin in the game because they had something to lose.
Sorry.
And no worries. And he went through all kinds of really interesting stories, such as one really popular one is Jesus. He explained that for Christianity to have become such a big thing, or why the story is so captivating, is because God gave up his own son, Jesus, to then come to earth and become a human, which means vulnerable, and then die for people's sins, so to say. And not to turn this into a Christian channel, but according to Nassim Taleb, this was a metaphorical um, example of skin in the game. And yeah, he has loads of examples like this. And the reason why I said soul in the game was because one level up from skin in the game is soul in the game.
Yep.
And yeah, Elon, you know, with 100% of his portfolio being Tesla, uh, yeah, seems he's following that principle of putting everything into something.
Yep.
Uh, Next up, you have BlackRock, who have been mentioned quite a lot of times and come up on literally every big company's investor
Yep.
list.
Yeah.
Apparently, they hold, um, I believe, 7% of America's GDP in terms of value. I think they're managing around 7 trillion in assets. Crazy. I
Yep.
think the world's biggest hedge fund. What will be interesting for a lot of people here is also the types of investments that hedge funds are making here. And what's interesting to see here is that you can actually see what hedge funds have done, or what whales have made puts. And here you can see that Susquehanna International Group um, has a put on Tesla, which is means shorting Tesla. Um, yeah, by quite a large amount.
But they also have a call, which means they're playing like an options play. It's under BlackRock.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
and this actually teaches you a lot about investing. You can have bets for and against the company,
at the same
and
time.
if you yeah, and if you sort of calculate in proportions, um, I don't even know how to explain this properly, but I'm sure you understand what I mean in terms of um, if you're betting, right? If you if you want to play both sides of the bet and make sure that whatever happens you win, then you would play both sides. And whatever has the higher likelihood, you put a little bit more money into. And what has the lower likelihood, you put a little bit less into. And in this case, they seem to be making a bet that there's a higher likelihood that Tesla will fail. So they're putting more in their puts than in their calls. But in case it doesn't fail, they still have their calls. So they win regardless of what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Interesting,
I
right?
Yeah, but I think it might also be just a thing regarding time frames. Like for example, Tesla has had a huge run up, and they could have been, yeah, we're gonna short it for a bit here because it already ran up a lot. But yeah, then we'll be back on buying the calls because we actually believe in it for the long term. So yeah, they're playing both sides of
It's
the tables quite well.
it's, it's crazy that they're allowed to do that, you know.
Why wouldn't they be?
I mean, if you're long term invested in something, I wouldn't think that you would short term short it at the same time. It seems like incongruent with your morals or something. And I think Elon mentioned that in the podcast as well, that he thinks in that regard it is. Even companies have guidelines that employees only invest and not sort of play the puts and calls type thing on their own company, because it would indicate that they sort of are rooting for um, them not to do well. which is a weird thing for an employee to do.
I think I sent you a meme today, which is from
Yeah.
that so- stock a trees from Socrates, right? And I think it was something like, "Stop acting like shorting a company to make some gains is like a capital sin," or something like that. And yeah, I can understand that point of view as well. Like, I get what you're saying regarding having an investment thesis, and I get what Elon is saying. It's kind of like mentally uncomfortable to think that somebody is betting money that your company will fail. Like, I get that. But then again, from an investment or a trading perspective, they're just trading, and they're just assuming that your stock will go down. Like, they're not forcing it to go down. They're not coming and setting the building on fire. They're just making a bet that your stock will go down. So I think there isn't as much morality attached to it, more than.
I'd actually have to disagree with that. Um, I don't think it's so much about the morality, so to say, because I kind of get what you're saying, but you often mention first principles, right? And if we went to first principles, we would have to ask the question: what is the use of shorting? What is the what is the actual use of shorting? And it's not actually or purely to make profit on volatility.
It kind of
It
is.
actually it actually well maybe in your definition, but the actual reason why shorting was invented is um to weave out the market of shitty companies. The whole thing about trading on volatility is quite a recent phenomena, so to say. And I have this also from watching or listening to another podcast, and they, a lot of opinions sort of go into the direction of saying that the original idea of shorting has been bastardized into trading on volatility. But I'm not trying to make a moral judgment here. I'm just trying to say if we reasoned by first principles, you would only short something where you think it would long term be negative and shouldn't be in the stock market or should be sort of therefore punished. Um, but yeah, whichever way you see it, it's what you think. This is just my opinion on that. Um,
It's actually, I don't know, the way I think about it, at least from a personal perspective, is, for example, I would short, let's say, tobacco or oil. I would short them because I think they're negative in the long term to humanity. And I think in one way or another, we're going to get rid of them. But I'm not going to do it because they're still going to continue making money until something explosive happens. And then they start not making as much money, and eventually they will die out. But
yeah.
I wouldn't short them for the moral reasons, because I know I would lose money, right? So I have shorted companies which I thought were scams, overrated, fake, like Nicola, right? So from
Yeah,
that
and that's
perspective,
and that is what shorting is for. It's actually not to be using it to do this thing to sort of believe long term in a company, but think, oh, in the short term there'll be bad news about them, so we'll make money on that. That is actually not the original idea of why shorting was invented for the stock market, because the stock market is supposed to um, it's supposed to prop up good companies and weave out the bad ones by function of shorting, but that has been bastardized into trading on volatility. That's all I'm trying to say. um, and I'm not trying to say people should outlaw shorting because of that. That's just the name of the game right now, but I think it should also be um, interesting, or people should know why this thing was invented, so to say, and make their opinion. Yeah, form their own opinion on it.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
I don't do this kind of stuff. I only short companies that I genuinely think are shit, and I haven't shorted companies in a long time. I shorted Nikola for a bit, but like you said, it was really weird how they actually went up sometimes, and then went down again and then
Yeah,
went up. So like they never really went to zero. But there's quite a few people that actually think it's going to zero, and they're shorting it forever.
yeah.
They're keeping their shorts open until that day happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's everything on this page regarding whale. This the website is called WhaleWisdom. So anybody interested, check that out.
Send
Um,
send it to me as well, dude.
yeah, sure.
I think it's a good source.
Yeah. So this is um yeah, this is a lot of tools today, man. A lot of tools for our listeners
And
today.
I got even more.
Oh, you got more. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll go through I think two or three of them, but super fast. It's just and they're actually related to crypto. And I just wanted to show a bit of my well, I wouldn't call it skill set, but maybe tool set on how I look regarding crypto. So yeah. So the thing is, one thing I consider interesting in crypto is the fact that there have already formed a couple of big categories in the crypto space. Actually, let me just hide this while we talk. So I think it's interesting to look at things comparatively, just like I'm looking at stocks comparatively. Okay, I want to see how, let's say, Binance is doing. Okay, I'm going to compare that with other centralized exchanges or decentralized, for example, because Binance has both. But let's just keep it simple. So from that perspective, I think you can see a lot of, I'll show you, you can see a lot of metrics and you can get a sense on how tokens are performing compared to their competitors in sectors.
Right.
It's not like, yeah, you can be in multiple categories.
Yeah, this is dope.
Yeah,
What's the page
automated
called again?
market, CryptoSlate.
CryptoSlate. Dope.
Yeah, see, this is automated market makers, which is like decentralized exchanges, sort of, or yeah, most of them are actually decentralized exchanges as well. But yeah, for example, we can just actually look at dexes, and yeah, it's basically the same ones. But yeah, uh, think about it. Like for example, if you envision a crypto future where centralized exchanges will be overtaken by decentralized exchanges, this would be a pretty interesting place to start your investments, right? Because yeah, they hold a big chunk of the sector now, but yeah, they could move to Dex. And this is, look, this, here's your boy. Dude, actually, yeah, FTX has gone up quite a lot in the past few months. I was actually looking at it, and yeah, right? Are you, can you hear me? I think we lost Jerry. But yeah, basically, I was saying Jerry is a super big bull on FTX because of a lot of features that they have, including like you can borrow some cryptos based on your existing assets. You can actually have some crypto. Some stocks which are mirrored in a crypto token. So they have super interesting stuff. And yeah, Jerry is a big fan of FTX. And yeah, they have been going up quite a lot in the past few days.
Bro, my connection just cut. Did you not
That's
see this?
I did, and I just went on.
You just
Show,
continued?
yeah,
Let's
yeah. Show,
see.
show must go on.
We might have to just keep that in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I was talking about your boy here actually when it cut off, FTX.
Oh, my boy, FTX gangway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying that actually it performed quite well in the sense that it's,
Of course,
well, it
everything
has
has.
a, oh, chill, dude, chill. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyways, yeah. So this is FTX. This is sorry, this is CryptoSlate. I think it's yeah, it's super interesting. There's yeah some other ways to segment it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even here, dude, sectors AI. You can have cryptos that do in the AI sector or the art sector. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, education, for example. So yeah, the other one was CoinGecko, which is basically the same thing. It just has some other more interesting graphics here. But yeah, basically it's the same thing. It's some comparative view with some graphs. But yeah, and the last thing I wanted to talk about was this. I actually asked you earlier this week if you have any centralized information regarding venture capital in crypto space, and you sent me some. I researched some, and actually I encountered this platform Messari.io. I
Oh
haven't heard
shit.
about it.
Yes. I know Masari.
Yeah, I haven't. And it's actually quite interesting because you can search to see what the biggest venture capitals own, which is interesting. You don't have the allocation because I don't think they're required to disclose it. I think this is just public on their website. But nonetheless, this is interesting. For example, you also sent me this Pantera Capital. Yeah, they have a huge list of tokens they hold, and yeah, some of them I know, some of them I don't, but nonetheless this is super interesting to see.
Wow. Okay. So this is Pantera. I think they're the earliest hedge fund to get involved with crypto.
Yeah,
Can you do it by
and this is
amount
Andreessen.
amount they're holding?
No, that's why I said they only list what they're holding, not how much,
Oh wow. Okay.
because this is public information, but they don't say how much. For example, with yeah, this is another website which is basically doing the same thing. You have the Pantera Capital section, and yeah, who is in the team, and then what they hold. But again, unfortunately, it's not how much they hold, just what they hold. So yeah,
Dope.
but
Man,
still, it's
you're
interesting.
dropping crazy gems today, man. This is almost like too much to. This is almost too much to
Yeah,
upload.
yeah. The last thing was this. I was actually telling you before we started the podcast. This is July 1st, 2021. So
Mhm.
obviously excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is the rank of the most held assets by top venture and hedge funds portfolios.
Fuck.
35 of them.
Polkadot and Terra.
Polkadot and Terra are apparently the most held assets, which is interesting.
Near Protocol and Oasis Network.
I don't know what any of those do.
God damn, bro. Hold on, man.
Yeah,
Send this into the group.
yeah. But look, Solana is here. I know what Maker does. I heard the Filecoin. I know the Graph. I know Uniswap, Aave, Balancer, Synthetics, OX. So I know some of them, but some of these I have not even heard of. And yeah, especially like the ones you mentioned, they are top holdings. I don't even know what they do. And actually, since we have the resource
Dodo.
here,
Dodo is a funny one. I don't know
yeah,
why.
apparently Dodo, I think is from what I understand, it's a decentralized exchange, and yeah, that's the basically the DAO token to control it. So I guess there's that. But see, let me
Interesting.
just yeah, this near protocol. Look, its market cap is actually quite low. It's not performing bad. It's actually performing quite well, but the market cap isn't particularly high. It's 1.5 billion. So yeah,
Might
and it's a
be
proof.
might be gearing up for something. I saw Chainlink mentioned there. Well, Chainlink is working with every flipping body.
Yeah, see. So basically, this what was it called? Shit. Wow, forgot the name. Yeah, near. Okay, near protocol. Yeah, basically, it's not even top 20, or is it? No, it had to be. No. It had to be. Sorry, I fucked up. Yeah, whatever. It's yeah, it's probably like top 20 in proof of stake. So yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I think this is a good note to leave it on, man. We overflowed with signals today versus noise. This was like a pure signals podcast.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, great.
Oh, last thing we should touch upon really shortly. Ethereum versus Bitcoin volume on Coinbase. So for people who didn't know, Coinbase had earnings. I think it was last week, and I think this was the first quarter ever for them or any other exchange to report that they had more flow in Ethereum rather than Bitcoin, which is like a change of sorts of dominance maybe in the market.
It's also surprising because the gas fees are so high on Ethereum. It shows that like as much as the gas fees are high and it creates barriers to entry, at least from a financial standpoint of view, um, the blockchain is still so important. The platform is still so important that people are willing to pay these high gas fees to still use Ethereum. And yeah, I think it says a lot. And after this update that Ethereum did, things can only go up from there because they're burning tokens now, so it's becoming deflationary more and more.
Yeah,
So yeah, shout
yeah,
outs to Ethereum.
yeah. Okay.
hmm Maybe we'll just do like a shoot the shit last few minutes because it was a lot of tools and not so much about maybe current state of the market and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a downturn right now. If this downturn still persists when this podcast is out, I would really recommend to um, our listeners to look at good stocks to buy using some of the tools that we showed today, like the 52-week lows, and potentially sell some stocks to be in a good cash position to buy into those dips.
Yeah,
And I think today you sent me this report that Palantir is gearing up for a potential Black Swan event. Black Swan is a term coined by the same guy that coined, well, didn't coin the term skin in the game, but he popularized
yeah,
um, or brought it back into pop culture. The term skin in the game. He actually coined the term Black Swan, which is an unexpected event that could have sort of catastrophic um, sort of catastrophic consequences.
yeah,
Is it fair to say that? Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So this could be anything. Obviously, we live in very, um, let's just say, exciting times with incredible buying opportunities. Is how Kathy Woods would would describe it or reframe it as. And it truly is. You know, we have climate we have climate related challenges. We have some geopolitical challenges. We have a world that's, slightly since the pandemic, and maybe because of the pandemic, partly, um, a world that's leaning a little bit more into totalitarianism. I'm not sure what or how that affects the markets, but to me, that means bullishness for crypto and Bitcoin in particular, as that is held up as the hedge against inflation. And uh, I won't say that that thesis has been confirmed, but I will say that a lot of places that have had high inflation also had high Bitcoin adoption rate, like Nigeria.
yeah.
So yeah, how all of this craziness relates back to how you can, or any listener can increase their ROIs is crypto, in my opinion. What do you think, Adi?
Yeah, I think the whole thing with the status of the markets right now, there it's actually pretty confusing in the sense that the indices are at all-time high. For example, big corporations like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon not that much. Amazon is actually a bit slightly down in the past few weeks, and actually, I think year to date is single digit growth, which is I think impressive. I mean, not impressive, surprising in the sense that, yeah, the revenue still went up 30-40%. But yeah, nonetheless, so you have smaller caps which are discounted, but the big caps, they're pretty much at all time highs. The indices are at all time highs. Uh, we recently had a dip in crypto. If you were able to take advantage of it, that was pretty good. I think we're gonna have still gonna have some positive in the crypto, but for the stocks, either we're about to get a massive bullish wave or a massive bearish wave. I don't think there's enough fuel. Either there's enough fuel to get us much higher, or it's just gonna slow/stagnate and then just free fall. But we'll see.
Yeah, there's always been this theory that the stock market is a lagging indicator for the crypto market, so that whenever there's a bull run in the stock market, then a bull run in the crypto market follows. And I'm not sure if that's been true recently. It seems like it has, but um, it might just be coincidence. Um,
Yeah,
and then there's also the thing that I found interesting, which is that a lot of people say that crypto is not a hedge against the stock market; it is a hedge against a falling dollar.
of course.
So that's something really important to note, because I think some people actually go in thinking that crypto is a hedge against the stock market.
No,
And in many ways, actually, crypto is similar to the stock market. Um,
of course.
yeah. What else? I think there was some stuff about market updates and China regulations.
Yeah, no, but this was basically sort of it. Like, yeah, it's all time high, but then again, it's it's showing signs of slowing down. Like you even have like um, sorry, what I was to say. Um,
The stock market.
retail sales for I think the past month have been going down. You have some inflation, you have some industrials picking up. So I think the market at this point is a bit overheating. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Regarding China, yeah, there were some news. As we said earlier, BlackRock stated that people should be wary when investing in China, and then basically they warned people not to do it, which, needless to say, it's interesting because, yeah, there was this article I'm gonna share probably in the link, which uh, is the article BlackRock claimed regarding China, and basically all the negatives they were underlining there had to do with data security. And if these things happened in the US, everybody would be praising the government for doing it. Like stuff regarding tracking, regarding freedom of information, how much companies know about you, and stuff like that. So, yeah, BlackRock was citing that as risks because it's increased regulations. But if the US government would do it, everybody would be happy. So, yeah, it's just weird for.
You mean as in if the U.S. government would what increase privacy and I mean, and regulation in what direction?
Yeah, for customer privacy. Basically, yeah, BlackRock were citing sources, and they were saying
What
that
in comparison to China or just in general? I'm not
in
sure.
general. So,
Oh, in
yeah,
general. Okay, okay. Because I was like, why would that be in relation to China? Because they don't
no, 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 no,
do
no.
that.
It's in general. So basically, BlackRock were citing sources saying that China is adding increasing regulations, and they're doing stuff basically for data safety and not allowing Chinese companies to store as much data about you and stuff like that coming from the government. And they were saying that this is negative for the companies themselves. But yeah, at least my point of view is that's not necessarily the case. That's the path towards a more healthy market. And yeah, basically let the best man win, who has the best products, not just who has most of the data, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
Good note to end the pod on. Thank you everybody for listening. This is Legalized Robbery. Hope we were able to drop some gems on you today, and you can go away and kill it in the public and private and crypto markets. Peace, love,
Night.
out.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.